Cancer patients calling on government for urgent help. Morobe governor critical of Leh City Council performance. And PNG Muay Thai fighter competing in Thailand.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
For joining me for Friday's news. Patients currently admitted to the PNG Cancer Facility in Leh are calling on the national government to look into their plight. One patient we spoke to yesterday said she had already spent 8,000 kina just to buy morphine used as a painkiller. The spouse of another patient said she and her husband had spent about 20,000 kina just to travel to Port Moresby to get CT scans. The patients are no longer willing to be accommodated in an old rundown building where both male and female patients are forced to use the same toilet and shower facilities. The patients told EMTV the problem surrounding the PNG Cancer Treatment Centre is much more deeply rooted and it needs political intervention. The patients and staff came out on the media during the first visit of the Governor-General-elect, Bob Dadai. Martha Louise has been following this story and brings us this special report.
Days after his election, the Governor-General-elect went to the National Cancer Unit. The patients and staff of the facility told Governor-General-elect the unit needs attention. Armed with placards, they demanded, among other things, the return of Dr. John Niblet, the former oncologist who served at Engau for more than 30 years. Almost all the patients admitted spoke of the difficulties they have been facing since their admissions.
All cancer patients every day tubla line work diet every day. Also the government look so long. Find some money come inside log cancer what there cancer. Government money something people making what him man only gonna only work him government this la or call him also government but only look so all people mibla stalo cancer what there.
People sambil bakal haus, yang masuk okey kundi, yang belum mangki tu mas na, support people kam, ni lagi mesti doktor mas kam bege na, elbe support men, tak soleh itu tak problem.
As the PowerPoint blow up because building all plan. Now you kiss him this plan name, you begin him Morobe, you kiss him. Some like government all stand up, only no walk him, me like him, you ba walk him. Amen. Me like him. House belong cancer or cancer ward. Emma separate na you by walking good platro. Me don't like him open bed awesome. Self-contained room where one sick patient but he stop inside and all back him treatment.
Dolly Wayong came from Enga to receive treatment in Leh. She told EMTV yesterday she has been buying her own morphine because there was none at the hospital. She was told the facility didn't have any money to buy the morphine.
Papa ningini government yubla masore lo yubla na lugi. Na educated mol papa ningini all young blood doctors lo mibla. Can you people see this? Why yubla work lo fight lo white man over time wasting big blood money. Larem doctor nilbet now stop na. Larem typhoid that this la lili kwanemia yubla bam school people all young blood doctors lo mibla. That's my cry. One day I will pray me talking mole. This la misa pray lo lugi man bla big man lo this la where ya. Now me look him you, Governor General. Dream blow me. Lo look him on man way me ba talk to one.
Another patient told EMTV there were no CT scanners available and they were told to go to Port Moresby to get scans.
Instead of going to Moresby for CT scan, why not here in Leh? My husband and I traveled twice to Moresby. Na lo dislakai ni mi plan no got money lo ki dislakai exercise lo go come. So I'm asking if there is a special and this la machine true mi plan need him long hang out.
Staff at the unit also expressed their concerns to the Governor-General-elect, saying the problem is much deeper than what been seen by the public. Yesterday we made appointments to meet with the cancer patients today. When we went to the Enga hospital, we were told by the hospital security guards and nurses to leave the premises. A nurse working at the cancer ward told us to leave and seek approval from the Enga Management Board. Although talks have been ongoing, For the transfer of the facility to the Engau Management Board, it has not been formalized. The Health Minister Michael Malabak, when contacted on Facebook this morning, referred us to the Health Secretary for answers. Our questions to the Health Secretary Pasco Kase sent to him today have gone unanswered. While many other staff have remained hesitant to speak publicly about the difficulties, senior radiation therapist Becky Pius expressed openly the need for a radiation oncologist. She explained without an oncologist, patients are unable to undergo radiotherapy treatment. An oncologist is the only person who can plan and prescribe medication for patients.
So I'm all party staff here. Lo style lo box. But try la reni kana fladina desla mas million kina masinya. Brand new, it's bagarapna.
A week ago, Morobe Governor Kelly Naru raised concerns regarding the difficulties the facility is facing and has made calls to the national government to look into the issue. Yesterday, Lay MP Luzia Koza raised similar sentiments for the Prime Minister to rescue the patients at the cancer unit.
The reality on the ground in Lay is twofold. People continue to die when they don't need to, when you have an oncologist still living here in Lay, still waiting.
Martha Louise, National EMTV News, Lay.
Meanwhile, a lay community member has voiced his concern over the neglect of the cancer unit at Engau Hospital. Thompson Benguma, a member of a Pentecostal church, says he is doing what little he can to help the patients get by in terms of food as they wait for treatment.
Every week we spend a good amount of money as part of our giving for the cancer ward because we want to, in a small way, be able to address that situation because maybe good nutrition, good food could help. If there's no other facilities available, maybe good. And that's the best we've done so far. And but the government has to come good on this one. Otherwise, their policy on health is of no effect. It's just a joke to the people of this nation.
Morobe Governor Kelly Naru has blasted the Lay City Council for what he calls bad management, which has led to the neglect of Lay City's suburban roads. Naru said while the council's budget had been cut progressively, the council members had also spent large amounts of money for overseas travel. Naru was responding to questions over why suburban roads had been allowed to deteriorate over 20 years.
The provincial government has been under the spotlight for the past 3 weeks as residents throughout Lay City accused the Naru administration for neglecting suburban roads. In an interview with the Lay City manager Roy Kamen, he highlighted the fact that the grants for the city council had been progressively cut since 2013, putting pressure on their ability to build and maintain suburban roads.
We must have substantial amount of money to make sure this road are maintained maybe 2 or 3 times in 1 year so that then by stable normal condition blame.
But the Morobe governor has hit back, blaming the city council for bad management.
You know, my own view is that city council in itself is actually a total disaster, like the roads they manage. If city council acted responsibly in terms of the amount of money that we are giving to them and prioritize their budget in terms of the programs and priority areas that they are supposed to manage, we should be able to manage these programs.
The Morobe governor said the council still had a lot to do to manage its financial affairs. Naru believes the funding given to the council can be effectively managed to fix suburban roads.
But what do we hear? City council, instead of fixing the roads, cutting the grass, beautifying the city, fixing the street lights, we city council staff and officials going on, exorbitant overseas trips. City council is in Fiji, city council is in Cairns, city council is in Indonesia, city council is wherever. I don't know what they want to get out there.
The council management maintains it needs up to 30 million kina to fix suburban roads. It's money it doesn't have right now. Scott White, National EMTV News, Lay.
Education Secretary Dr. Uke Kombra has issued a stern warning to teachers in provinces that if the resumption of duty summary sheet is not received on time, they are likely to be put off the payroll in March. The appeal comes from the Education Department because of delays in the resumption of duty summaries not being given on time. The Education Department has made the 1st of March a deadline, while the 27th of March will be auto-suspension. Teachers from Gulf, Western, Kiunga Lake Murray, Oro, Milne Bay, Eastern Highlands, Western Highlands, Jiwaka, Southern Highlands, Hela, East Sepik, Medang, West New Britain, East New Britain and the autonomous region of Bougainville are expected to be suspended. National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Church leaders in the country will unite next month to discuss and share ideas of sensitive social issues facing the country at the first church-led HIV summit. This summit, led by PNG Christian Leaders Alliance on HIV/AIDS, received a 300,000 kina check today from the National Gaming Control Board. The main purpose of the summit is to deliberate on HIV and social issues and how churches can come together to address these issues.
National Gaming Control Board is the first and only corporate company to come on board and assist the PNG Christian Leaders Alliance on HIV and AIDS Summit. Presenting the check today, National Gaming Control Board Chief Executive Officer Imelda Agon says activities like this should be funded as churches play an instrumental role in raising awareness of HIV and AIDS.
But because there is a lack of awareness, more so in the rural PNG, many of our family members don't get the kind of love and attention and treatment. And I believe that church has played a major role in the country prior to independence and even today as we speak. As a government agency, we can only do part of our bit in terms of funding, but really the church are established before us in terms of education, in terms of health.
The theme of the upcoming summit is Faith and Obedience in Action. Objectives of the summit include inform and empower leaders on current HIV situation on both local and international level, and inform leaders on sensitive issues that may cause conflict with Christian faith.
This summit, a time of really educating our people or making our people aware of what the churches would like to do also at this time. And I'd like to say this, I'm thankful to the Papua New Guinea Gaming Control Board and with Imelda to have responded to our request. We met the Prime Minister and we made known this intention to him. And he responded very excitingly in a sense, because he said, I want to be with the churches. And as always, the Prime Minister is always willing to be able to help the churches, because through the churches, there's a lot of things that we work together with the government to make sure that it is done.
The summit will take place in Port Moresby next month at the Stanley Hotel and is expecting at least 120 participants. They need at least 700,000 kina to stage the summit and is asking for support from business houses and the public sector. Merlin Daukatam, National EMTV News.
The people of Selau Suir constituency in North Bougainville have thanked the governments of New Zealand and Japan and the Asian Development Bank for bringing change to their communities. The people can now enjoy having electricity supplied for them following the installation. It has come about through the initiative of donor partners, the autonomous Bougainville government and the national government. New drone footage has revealed the extent of the damage of the January 19 avalanche that killed 29 people in central Italy. The avalanche buried a hotel under 60,000 tons of snow. The ice is now melting, showing the rubble underneath. The remains of the hotel can be seen along with crushed and overturned cars. Facebook could be fined if the social media site refuses to remove stories which are shown to be false. The German government could become the first in the European Union to use the law to halt the rise of so-called fake news.
Footage from Dortmund, West Germany on New Year's Eve. A report on the influential anti-establishment website Breitbart suggested a huge mob attacked a church while waving Al-Qaeda flags and chanting Allahu Akbar, God is great. But there was no Islamist assault on this church. It was fake news. And the vicar mentioned in the Breitbart article, which is still online, fears the consequences.
I was astonished because it was a lie.
Here in Berlin, one party in the ruling coalition wants Facebook held to account.
We want to force Facebook to build a permanent contact agency where the law enforcement can reach them 24 hours for the whole week. Second point is we will define periods, and in that period they have to react against fake news, and the third thing is that they have to pay a high fine.
These are independent fact-checkers now used by Facebook.
Refugees get the driving license for zero, for no money. They get it as a present, and this is ridiculous.
If they discover fake news, they mark it as false and send a warning message to German-speaking users.
A lot of this fake news are only focused to bring hate to our communities.
Many Germans fear that false stories online could stoke the rise of extremist parties. Fake news seems unlikely to disappear anytime soon. And what's happening here could help determine the future of democracy in Europe.
Back home, elementary schools in the Sinisine Yongomul district have received major funding of 2 million kina from their local MP Kerengakua. This marks the third batch of payments made to all elementary schools in the district since 2012 under the district's Education Infrastructure Improvement Program. This also included 2 high schools and 1 secondary school.
Teachers and board members of elementary schools from all over Sinisine Yongomul district, Simbu province, gathered at Mogul village to receive funding from the district. The event brought together the local member Kerengakua, members of the Sinisine Yongomul District Development Authority, and representatives from the Simbu Education Board.
Listen good. Now change must come up inside the school, people. You are working double classroom or putting fencing or making something in by changing Facebook school, please.
This funding was part of the Education Infrastructure Improvement Program, which has seen major infrastructure developments for schools in the district.
Look at them, the elementary schools are beginning and important through Joseph stop closer through what you mean. You must take him ownership now. Look at him and make sure this money come or teacher and board must not get public.
A total of 2 million kina worth of checks was distributed to the elementary schools, each receiving 30,000 kina. Upon presenting of the checks, Mr. Kua stressed the importance of investing in education at an early age to give children a good start in life.
In there, you sorry what angry education inside the life family player, na district player, na province player, na country player. You want to move this nation forward on a solid foundation of education. Me look at Niamo Mastro. Papua New Guinea, one beautiful country. Beautiful country. You mix in good plus away, by Minaplo building beautiful country. You mix in Nungut Rapis away off the street now. And by me bagrab in this good black country, blow me.
Merlin Daukatam, National EMTV News.
Now looking at our finance news, the kina closed unchanged at $0.3150 in the interbank markets. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.3075 $0.397 Australian dollars, €0.286 and 34.56 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, coffee and cocoa closed higher, while gold and copra closed the day lower. Crude oil closed higher, while palm oil and copper closed the day lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 7.91 points higher. The ASX is trading at 10.5 points lower, and the All Ordinaries closed at 12.04 points lower. More stories when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. Scientists are trying to get the first ever photo of a supermassive black hole believed to be at the center of our galaxy. The black hole is more than 240 million kilometers from the Earth.
This is our galaxy, the Milky Way, a swirl of stars and planets, including our own Earth. At its center, it has a heart of darkness, a supermassive black hole. It's an object with immense gravity that pulls in everything around it. It's so strong that it even sucks in light. In a few weeks' time, researchers here will try and take a picture of it. So how are scientists down here on Earth going to see the black hole that's so far away? No single telescope is powerful enough, so 12 of them all around the world will be linked together, and the images they collect will be fed into a computer in Boston. Now, our galaxy is a vast spiral with the Earth here on one of the arms, and the black hole is right at the centre, 153,000 million miles away. It's 4.5 million times the mass of our sun. No one has ever seen it, but scientists think it looks something like this. It's a mind-boggling amount of data, stored on dozens of hard drives, flown in from telescopes all across the world. It will take the team here months to go through all the information.
Black holes have been mysteries forever. It's been almost a holy grail for astronomers to be able to image and probe the area right around the point of no return, the event horizon of the black hole. What we're going to learn is how black holes feed and swallow some of it and grow in size.
The scientists here may have their first image by Christmas.
Samsung Group chief J.Y. Lee is arrested over his alleged role in a corruption scandal that led Parliament to impeach South Korean President Park Geun-hye. Lee has repeatedly denied allegations of bribery through Samsung Group spokespeople.
Lee's arrest dealt a fresh blow to the world's biggest maker of smartphones. South Korea's special prosecutor has focused on Samsung Group's relationship with Park, accusing Lee, Samsung chief, of pledging 43 billion won to a business and organizations backed by Park's friends Choi Soon-sil in exchange for support of a 2015 merger of Samsung companies. Lee, 48, was taken into custody at Seoul Detention Center, where he had awaited the court's decision following a day-long closed-door hearing that ended on Thursday evening. The judge's decision was announced on Friday, more than 10 hours after Lee had left the court. The same court rejected a request from prosecutors last month to arrest Lee. The special prosecutor's office had requested a warrant to arrest him and another executive, Samsung Electronics President Park Sun-jin, on bribery and other charges. However, the court rejected the request to arrest Park, who also heads the Korean Equestrian Federation, saying it was not needed given his position, the boundary of his authority, and his actual role. However, on Wednesday, South Korea's Special Prosecutor's Office said it had secured additional evidence against Lee to seek a warrant for his arrest. While Lee's detention is not expected to hamper day-to-day operations of Samsung Group companies, experts have said it could affect strategic decision-making by the country's biggest conglomerate. Melissa Gaviro, EMTV World News.
Muay Thai kickboxer making a name for himself abroad and new ticketing system for rugby league fans. Those stories and more in Trukai Sports up next.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. 25-year-old Jonathan Tuhu is a Papua New Guinean Muay Thai kickboxer who fights in the under 66 to 69.5 kg category. This young man turned heads during his fight in Australia in 2014, where he knocked out his Indonesian opponent. The win secured his ticket to Thailand, the birthplace of Muay Thai kickboxing.
Tuhu was interested in martial arts as a kid, and by 1999 he was already doing backyard karate and taekwondo trainings. Though he never really fought in a competition until 2007, at the age of 14, Tuhu took part in karate at the PNG Games in Leh. For a first-time fighter, he finished well in the semi-finals. In 2012, he transitioned from karate to Muay Thai kickboxing.
It's take long time to learn how to do Muay Thai, and it's about commitment and discipline. If you discipline yourself and you commit your time, and then you get a technique. If you not commit yourself to training, it's nothing happen. So it's totally different.
It literally translates to Thai boxing and is often referred to as the science of 8 limbs. The 8 limbs refer to the weapons allowed. Unlike ordinary kickboxing, Muay Thai permits strikes with the knees and the elbows as well as punches and kicks. With ever-growing anticipation to try out Muay Thai, his first international fight came in 2013 in the Rest of the World versus PNG competition organized by Stanley Nandax. The then 20-year-old fought and defeated Indonesia's Alpha Tabagus and secured himself the World Kickboxing Federation Intercontinental title. By 2014, Tuhu turned heads when he developed and utilized knockout kicks that sent most of his opponents to the floor. His fight in Newcastle displayed his strength in the art. By 2015, he was given a spot in one of Thailand's top Muay Thai gyms, the Pukatop Team Mixed Martial Arts Training Camp. And these days, he goes by the stage name the Black and Gold Kazagam. His last fight was in Beirut against a Jordanian opponent in which he lost by way of points.
My dream, my goal is to become a world champion for that art, and then I want to bring that art to my country and get youngest boys and girls around the street.
For now, he is in the country sorting out personal matters, and he will resume training in Thailand in 3 months' time. Dini Rose Raiko, National EMTV Sports.
The new ticketing system introduced by Ticketmasters in partnership with the National Football Stadium and PNG Rugby Football League will allow rugby followers to purchase game tickets online. David Doig, More Printing and Ticketmasters Managing Director, says the new online ticketing system is flexible and will provide quality service to customers when it goes live on the 24th of this month.
With the Rugby World Cup coming, the year 2017 has raised the need to modernize the ease of access to tickets for the National Football Stadium events. However, considering the number of people who have internet access, questions may arise on whether online ticketing is commercially viable, affordable, and of value and beneficial to individuals.
Basically sat down and looked at the affordability aspect. We've looked at value, and we felt strongly that all the elements were built into the design of the packages and the kind of benefits that the individuals get. We feel that people would find them of great value.
The problem of match tickets duplication and illegal selling of tickets by street vendors has been a growing issue.
It carries a hologram, obviously the dynamic coding and the QR code, and it's going to be very difficult for our would-be counterfeiters and copycats out there to have a genuine looking ticket out on the streets.
This ticketing system allows customers to download tickets after purchase and have it printed at their own disposal.
You don't have one of those printers at home, but you can download a version of a ticket. It's like an A4 piece of paper, but it's got the coding on it. You print that at home, bring it along, and it'll get you through the gate.
PNG RFL CEO Reatau Rao says it's a great opportunity for the supporters of Rugby League.
Board of PNG Rugby League, our chairman, and the board, and all the leagues around the country, and SP Hunters team. We're very, very excited and happy to be part of this great initiative. And we do think that the 2017 brings a different vibe to our year, and we think we'll have a very successful year, including this.
Shane Saroya, National EMTV Sports.
The National Soccer League 2017 season kickoff date has been moved to April 29th. This announcement comes after PNG Football Association Emergency Committee had a meeting with the National Soccer League Interim Committee.
The Emergency Committee has decided to defer the kickoff date from 18 February to 29 April due to two reasons: participation of Lay City Dwellers and Madang FC in the OFC Champions League, and participation of PNG Senior Men's National Team in the FIFA World Cup qualifier. The PNGFA Emergency Committee stated that Lay City Dwellers and Madang FC has confirmed to participate in the 2017 NSL season. With that, the committee has pushed forward for the deferral to allow the two teams to focus on their campaign for the OFC Champions League. PNG Senior Men's coach Flamin Sertslav had also asked the committee to defer the kickoff date to allow for the men's national team to prepare for their home and away qualifier match against Tahiti. NSL competition manager had made known that 8 franchises have confirmed their participation in the country's biggest football competition. The 8 franchises confirmed are 2016 NSL champions Lay City Dwellers, Madang FC, Huawei PS United, Besta PNG United, Yamaros FC, Eastern Stars, Buang FC and Admiralty FC. Koima thanked the 8 franchises and stated that this year's competition will be bigger and better. Shane Saroya, National EMTV Sports.
Basketball PNG will start its 2017 season with a coaching clinic next week for interested coaches and officials from around the country. CEO Joel Kalu said the main focus and attention for this year will go towards the senior teams as they prepare for the Melanesian Cup later in the year. Meanwhile, development programs will also be looked at to get junior players ready for the Nationals this year.
Basketball CEO Joel Kalu told EMTV Sports that the Federation's strategic plan for 2017 will focus on upskilling all coaches and officials, with first priority going towards the senior players in preparations for the Melanesian Cup tournament. He said straight after the coaching clinic it will be game on for the seniors to attend organized tournaments to select the best players to represent Papua New Guinea in the Melanesian Cup competition.
We're hosting the Melanesian Cup here, the first ever FIBA Melanesian Cup in October. So the last week of September, so that our attention is going to be focused on our senior teams because that is a qualifying event for the Pacific Games. So, we need to finish top 3 at the Melanesian Cup to qualify for 2019 Pacific Games. So our attention this year is going to be on our seniors.
He says while the attention is focused on the senior players, development programs will also be rolled out around the country, as well as getting the junior players under 15 and under 17 in getting them ready and organized for the national championships.
We're focusing our attention on our Hoops for Health. So Pickaninny Hoops is going to be a new program that we're starting in March, which will focus on fundamental development of kids aged about 6 years old to 12 years old. Our Twilight basketball program will kick-start again in May, and then in that time we'll also be out in the schools doing our development programs through Hoops for Health.
He says while PNG Games have been deferred to the end of this year, this will give time to the Federation to provide an opportunity to all officials to do a refresher course.
Yeah, look, we had some plans in place prior to the deferment of the games, about doing some refresher referee courses, looking at doing some stuff actually in Kimbe during the PNG Games as well. But look, those are all obviously on hold. We'll look at doing a little bit more closer to the games in November. So once again, part of our strategic plan is to upskill our referees and officials.
PNG will host its first Oceania Championships for under 15 next year in Port Moresby. Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
Chukai Sports continues after the break. Don't go away.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. The BSP School Cricket Development Program has achievements that were highlighted by BSP E-Business Development Manager Igor Dona recently at the 2017 program launch. The success of the program was mainly attributed to the professional players produced through the BSP School Cricket Program.
Most of the players that make up the under-19 squad, the Garamuts, were taken from the BSP School Cricket Program. From there, they eventually get into A teams, which are reserve teams to the national teams, and later the national sides. A very good example of this program is Dogoro Bao, who became the 116th Barramundi player. Bao made his debut last year, and he performed exceptionally well in his first match in the Intercontinental Cup against Namibia on home soil. He made 7 runs and 3 catches to top off Barra's victory. Even scholarships such as the Future Star Scholarship and the Player Scholarship programs are now available as well. The main aim is to assist players in taking the next step in their individual performances and careers. Current Hebo PNG Barramundis player Kila Pala and 3 development players Jason Kila, Kipling Doriga and Dora Gavera have been in Canberra since last year as part of this development program. Dinero Raiko, National EMTV Sports.
Current PNG Schoolboys Under-16 coach Denise Mial has been appointed head coach of the PNG National Women's Rugby League team for 1 year. PNG RFL Board Director Don Fox made the announcement over the weekend. Fox said Mial's immediate task is to prepare the national women's side for the World Cup in Sydney, Australia later this year. Mial, 45, from CRC Morobe Province, has been the PNG Under-16 schoolboys coach since 2012 and guided the PNG Junior Commonwealth Under-19 side to gold medal glory at the Commonwealth Games in Scotland in 2014. Mial holds an ARL Level 1 and PNG RFL Level 2 coaching certificates. Real Madrid coach Zinedine Zidane warned on Wednesday that it was still all to play for in their Champions League last 16 clash against Napoli after the holders strolled to a 3-1 win in the first leg in Madrid. Madrid fell behind to an early goal at the Bernabeu, but then outclassed their opponents with efforts from Karim Benzema, Toni Kroos and a stunning volley from Brazilian midfielder Casemiro.
Yet Zidane believes Real, eyeing a 7th straight quarter-final appearance, can take nothing for granted when they travel to Naples for the second leg on March the 7th.
Abbiamo visto un Napoli, una grande squadra che nos ha puesto en dificultad también a noi ogni tanto. È una squadra che offensivamente te può hacer, come si dice? Male, ecco, grazie. Male en cualquier momento. Pues nosotros tenemos cosas para hacer daño también, o male al rival.
Napoli coach Maurizio Sarri said they're angry for the result because they could have done more.
Cioè, abbiamo perso una partita dopo 4 mesi. Con un po' di incazzatura perché non siamo riusciti a esprimersi al 100%, però questo non ci deve far abbassare la testa. Si riparte subito da una partita di campionato importante, stop, quando ci sarà la partita di ritorno penseremo alla partita.
Real have now won 29 of their last 34 European home games and are unbeaten in their last 12 at the Bernabeu in the competition. They were caught cold, however, by a fast attack in Napoli's side, who are the top scorers in Serie A, when Lorenzo Insigne spotted Madrid keeper Keylor Navas out of position to curl home a beautiful finish after 8 minutes. From that moment on, however, Real were seemingly able to create chances at will, with Benzema heading them level before the break and Kroos and Casemiro scoring in the space of 5 second-half minutes. The Brazilian midfielder thundered a spectacular right-foot shot into the net early in the second half to complete Real's comeback.
Good. I think our goal was to put the pressure high on them, especially on the defense, and we did it. And if you can do what you want, of course you're happy after. But we know that it's a good result, but not a perfect result, and nothing is done for the second leg. It will be tough in Neapel.
Con el balón vino, yo creo que quería reventarlo porque tenía muchas ganas de marcar un gol y gracias a Dios salió perfecta.
Meanwhile, media speculation has linked Real forward James Rodriguez with a move out of the club, something the Colombian player has denied. Jeremy Mogi, National TV Sports.
Back home, AFL PNG today completed its Level 1 accreditation coaching clinic facilitated by AFL development officers from Australia. Up to 40 coaches and athletes sat down in the last 2 days to go through courses in theory and practical skills development.
AFL coaches and athletes from around the country ended the Level 1 accreditation course organised by AFL Australia and AFL Pacific Development Officer Ben Drew through the PNG AFL. The program saw both indoor group activities and preparations and planning, coaching activities before training sessions and covering elements such as warm-up, stretching, touch work skills, game sense, fitness, competitive strategies and strength and obstacle solutions in games.
This program today, we've done lots of work on the role of the coach and the responsibility to the community when, how you are perceived by the community as a leader, really working hard to produce the message of, as a leader within the community, the youth and the kids, they all look up to you and you lead by example and set the example. If you are, your example's not a good example for them to follow, but the kids will still follow you.
He says seeing women participate in the course as well as the competitions around the country is something AFL PNG is doing to promote gender equality and stop violence against women.
Us, it's great to see young ladies and mothers and anyone coming down, all the females that want to come down and want to engage themselves and want to learn. We certainly pride ourselves on being open and inclusive to everybody that wants to come down. But I'm certain if you ask every sport and every organisation in PNG and around the world, we're all striving to change those barriers and provide that education and provide safe and adequate places for young ladies, girls, women to come and be involved in our sports.
Australian Community Football Operations Manager Andrew Hughes said the course will help all coaches and athletes perform at higher levels in their communities as well as local competitions.
So we've spent 3 days doing a staff conference with our staff from all over Papua New Guinea, and I think the thing that's pleased me most is how passionate they are for the game, and really passionate not just to get boys playing but girls as well is a really strong focus for us. We want people to have the opportunity to experience our game. We know that we're not the #1 sport in Papua New Guinea, but we like to give kids an opportunity to play our game and develop their skills, and hopefully they enjoy themselves and want to continue playing.
Godwin Eki, National MTV Sports.
And that ends Chukai Sports. The weather details after the break.
Chukai Sports. Chukai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Looking at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours in the southern region, fine although cloudy at times in Port Moresby, mostly fine in Daru and Alotau, and evening showers, then fine in Kerema and Popondetta. In the Momase region, evening showers or 2, then fine in Ley and Medang, and mostly fine in Wewak and Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, mostly fine though cloudy at times in Lorengau, brief overnight showers, then fine in Kavieng, mostly fine in Kokopo, Rabaul and Buka, and late evening showers or 2, then fine in Kimbe. And in the Highlands region, evening rain showers, then morning fog in Mount Hagen, and brief evening showers, then morning fog in Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabel. Forecast for small ships for the next 24 hours. All coastal waters of Papua New Guinea, seas of 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Ocean forecast for PNG areas in the Coral Sea. Sea slight with southeast to southwest winds at 10 to 15 knots. In the Solomon Sea, sea slight with northwest to west winds at 10 to 15 knots. In the Bismarck Sea, sea slight with northeast to northwest winds at 10 to 15 knots. And in the Pacific Ocean, sea slight with northeast to northwest winds at 10 to 15 knots.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
And that's been Friday's news. On behalf of the entire EMTV News team, thank you for your company. Good night.